Heading back to Earth, Gohan, Trunks, Vegeta, and Krillin rest for the next few days. After everything that's happened within the past few years, these few days of rest is really appreciated by the group. They arrive back on Earth and are greeted by the faces of their friends and family. With everyone finally wished back, we head into an era of peace spanning over the next 7 years. Over this time, everyone has grown in many different ways, with the main notable change being Gohan and Trunks finally hitting their growth spurts. They look much older, with both of them attending the same high school in Satan City, being in the same class. Of course, this doesn't mean that they've been slacking off in training in the slightest. They've still kept up with it, still being the two strongest on Earth at the moment. A couple years into the time skip, the group actually wishes the androids back to life. They didn't really get a chance to do anything, and honestly, the first thing that they did when they got out was kill Dr. Zero. They personally don't think that makes them inherently evil, so they give him another shot at life. The group comes to an agreement and they finally revive him. Of course, Krillin still ends up together with Android 18 during the gap, even having married just like they did in canon. This isn't the only relationship that developed during this time, since Vegeta and Android 21 finally get together. Android 21 has solely been accepted into the group, and even has a job at Capsule Corp working with Bulma. They start off a bit rocky at first, but they manage to get past all the awkwardness, starting a relationship, even getting married 4 years into the time skip. Moving on, Gohan and Trunks both end up stopping criminals in Satan City as golden fighters, but they soon realize that they can't just use Super Saiyan as a disguise, since people soon start to recognize their school badges, raising a lot of suspicion on the two. That's when Trunks gets the idea to make superhero costumes. He makes them with some feedback from Bulma and Yamcha, with the designs being similar to Goten and Trunks from the superhero art. With the new disguises made, they go on to become Great Saiyaman 1 and 2, eventually running into Videl with her slowly figuring out their identities. One time, in a fight, Gohan gets his helmet knocked off in front of Videl, with her blackmailing him and Trunks into entering the World Tournament like she did in canon. Gohan and Trunks both mention it to everyone, and they all end up wanting to participate in the World Tournament. With all the training they've done, this tournament will be very interesting to see. Before we move on, I think we catch up on some of the other characters, starting with the humans. As I said before, Krillin is married with 18, and he still has Marin like he does in canon. He's also managed to break his Kaioken multiplier so hard that the multiplier for his full power transformation is unquantifiable. Next up, Tien. Now, he might actually be stronger than Krillin because Krillin now has a family, making it a bit harder for him to train as often as he usually does. That, and him actually leaving the planet to explore and learn new techniques, he's managed to gain a lot of new abilities, mainly from his time spent on Yardrat. He learned a lot of spirit manipulation abilities, allowing him to heal, teleport, split energies with spirit vision, size manipulation, and how to separate himself into clones without losing strength. If he's not physically stronger than Krillin, he's much more versatile than he is by a long shot. Moving on to the Saiyans, Nappa is starting to show his age at this point. He's slowly growing gray hairs and he's actually losing his strength. He's actually planning on retiring from fighting real soon, realizing it's going to be hard for him to keep up with everyone else. Next up, Vegeta. Again, Vegeta got married to 21 and they're actually living in West Cities close to Capsule Corp. 21 is actually working with Bulma, helping him to improve their tech, and is trying to do good as a way to atone for what she's done in the Ronin Army. Vegeta and Yamcha spar with each other from time to time, even unlocking Super Saiyan 2 within their first year and fully mastering the form. Next, we have Raditz. He's been bouncing back and forth between Kamen House and Mount Paozu, training with Goku and Gohan. He even ends up starting a relationship with Launch after a few years of interacting at Kamen House, planning to get married after the World Tournament's over. Next up, Goku and Yamcha. Now, Goku and Yamcha have been training a lot over the last 7 years, even learning and fully mastering a couple of techniques from the afterlife. Currently, Goku is the strongest of the full-blooded Saiyans, as he's the first to unlock Super Saiyan 3, although he has very limited usage of the form, since there is a massive flaw with the form, being huge stamina drain. Seeing the glaring flaws of the form, Yamcha decides he's not going to try to obtain the form. Instead, he's going to continue working on something he thinks will work, but there's no telling if it will. Goten is still born here, with him being much stronger since Goku is still alive in his timeline, and he has a much stronger Gohan and Trunks to train with. Then we have Piccolo. He's become one of the more powerful fighters, with him finally getting his potential unlocked by the dragon like the humans did back in the Cell Saga. Currently, he's sitting right between Goku and Yamcha as the fourth strongest from the group. With that covered, we head over to the tournament. Everything plays out a bit similarly to how it does up in canon, up until we get to the finals of the Juniors division. Here, Supreme Kai and Kabuto Kai both speak to the group, telling them that the magician Babidi might already have enough energy to revive Majin Buu, but it's a bit hard to tell. He's actually a bit confused as to why Babidi hasn't already activated the seal to revive Majin Buu yet. That's when the ground starts to shake violently, throwing everyone off. Then a massive wave of energy sweeps over the area. Shin's face shifts from confusion to horror as Babidi teleports into the center of the World Tournament Arena with Majin Buu and Dabura, finally ready to get his revenge on the Kais for selling Buu away before. Backing up a few years, Babidi and Dabura finally arrive on Earth. But before they enact any further steps of their plan, Babidi is informed by one of his minions that he's found out what was tampering with Buu's egg. It was a mechanical device built to gather data by one of the inhabitants of the planet in an attempt to conquer the world. But it seems his plan failed catastrophically, leading to his death by one of his lesser creations. Apparently, one of his creations that has the biodata of Majin Buu still roams around the planet. They go by the name Android 21. Babidi uses his magic orb to take a look at 21, seeing she does in fact have some of the traits of Majin Buu, but it seems like it's very negligible, as she doesn't have the destructive nature of Buu or even has a shred of malice in her heart at the moment. For now, he tells the minion to keep an eye on her while they go and gather more energy to revive Majin Buu. Fast forwarding to the tournament starting, Babidi makes sure he has all his preparations set as he's getting ready to revive Buu. But just before he does, Dabura returns from the demon room with a strange artifact in his hands. He gives it to Babidi, saying it houses a lot of energies from the demon kings of the demon realm, with the strange artifact emitting crazy amounts of malice. Babidi takes the artifact and decides this will be their last resort tactic if it comes to it. Coming back to the present, Dabura and Buu immediately blast parts of the arena away, with ease shocking everyone on the sidelines. That's when Vegeta and Krillin realize that Dabura is still alive. That's when Dabura turns to the group as he spits on Gohan, Trunks, Krillin, Piccolo, and Kabuto, turning them all into stone before they can even react. This actually surprises Vegeta since when he first fought him, he didn't use his ability for some reason, even though it could have easily taken him by surprise. That's when Shin tells him he probably didn't use it because he didn't have to. He was using him as a means to gather energy for Buu. Babidi looks over at the group as he finally commands Majin Buu to wipe them all out, with Majin Buu ready to turn them all into candy. Shin moves the statues out of the way as Goku, Yamcha, and Raditz get ready to fight Buu, and Vegeta gets ready to end Dabura once and for all. They all stare each other down until Goku, Yamcha, Vegeta, and Raditz all burst into Super Saiyan 2 as they blast off towards Buu and Dabura, engaging in combat, with the Saiyan trio actually overpowering Buu initially. Buu is a lot stronger here, but the Saiyans are so much stronger than they are in the canon timeline, it doesn't really make this a fight at the moment. Eventually, Buu starts to get more and more angry, splitting off into two separate entities, Evil Buu and Good Buu, starting the fight, catching everyone there off guard. Meanwhile, Vegeta and Dabura are actually going head to head, with Dabura finally using his full power. He's even amped a bit more by Babidi just before they started the resurrection of Majin Buu. Although they seem to be even right now, Dabura's power amp seems to only be a temporary boost in power as he slowly starts to be overpowered by Vegeta. Him slowly losing power and Vegeta getting more aggressive with his assault leads to a swift defeat of Dabura with a single blast. With Dabura defeated, everyone that was turned into stone has been turned back, stacking the odds even further against Babidi. That's when we cut back to the Buus fighting, as Evil Buu finally absorbs Good Buu, making his power skyrocket, transforming into Super Buu. Buu then looks back at the three Saiyans, knowing he's still not strong enough to take on all of them, so he sweeps the area with the Chi Blast, kicking up a dust cloud. With everyone's vision impaired, he rips off pieces of himself as he starts launching them at the fighters, managing to land a few pieces on Goku, Raditz, Piccolo, and Vegeta, completely absorbing them, becoming Buu-Ku. Okay, the situation has become much worse, as Buu is now stronger than he's ever been before, and he has gained the intelligence of Piccolo, Goku, and Vegeta in all of their fighting abilities. Even with Gohan and Trunks being the strongest of the group, they would still struggle to beat all of them, and considering Buu can just absorb people by getting a piece of him onto you, it makes it too much of a gamble to try to fight him when he has so much up his sleeve. That's when Yamcha tells Shin and Kabuto to get the boys out of here. He could try his best to hold them off for them to escape. Of course, Shin thinks it's suicide, but Kabuto realizes if they all try to flee, Buu could just destroy the planet and be done with it. Gohan, Trunks, and Goten all protest, saying they could still help, but he just tells Shin and Kabuto to get them out of here as they then teleport to the world of the Kais. Finally alone with Buu, Yamcha decides it's now or never, as he drops back into his base form, confusing Buu. That's when he transforms into Hikari, as he begins to power up all his might. He grows in muscle mass and his hair grows longer. Then his arms and chest grow out fur. Finally, as the transformation completes, Yamcha is standing there looking down at his hands, amazed that it actually worked, as he just became the first Super Saiyan 4. Buu is completely at a loss for words since none of the fighters he absorbed has any knowledge of this transformation. Yamcha gets ready for round 2, saying Buu is going to pay for all the people he's killed and absorbed today. He flies at Buu, completely catching him off guard with the sheer amount of speed he has, landing a thunderous elbow right to Buu's face, sending him flying. Buu catches himself, knowing he can't toy with Yamcha right now since his fighting style is different from before when he fought him in Super Saiyan 2. Almost like he's more aggressive and more unpredictable with his attacks in this new form. Using the knowledge of the other fighters, he believes it might be best to try to outlast Yamcha with his regeneration since he's just unlocked the form. So he plays it slow, not really launching too many big attacks while mostly focusing on defense. Eventually, Yamcha does start to wear down, slowly giving the edge to Buu. That's when we get the unexpected appearance of Tien. He's been watching the fight from a distance since Buu arrived, learning he's absorbed a multitude of his friends, but luckily Tien has just the thing to fix that. Using his full power, he lands a flurry of attacks on Buu while he was getting ready to shoot a blast at Yamcha. At first, Buu laughs, thinking Tien, even using his most powerful attacks, couldn't even scratch him if he tried. That's when he starts to feel funny. His body begins to become unstable very quickly, but before Buu can even realize what's going on, Tien flies back in, landing more and more attacks. By the time Buu realizes what's happening, it's already too late, as pieces of him start to fly off, releasing the people he has absorbed. First Piccolo, then Raditz, then Vegeta, then Goku, and then finally the other Majin Buu. This causes Buu to start transforming again, but it seems he's not getting much weaker than when he absorbed the other Buu. The transformation completes, and we see Kid Buu standing there with an angry look on his face. Off rip, the first thing he tries to do is destroy the planet with the Ki Blast, but it's stopped by Yamcha. He then tries again, but gets stopped by Yamcha being kicked in the face before he can even shoot off another blast. Finally getting his attention, he turns to Yamcha with a smirk on his face as he extends one of his arms and punches Yamcha in the face. They continue fighting, and even with Buu's unorthodox ways of fighting and his limitless regeneration, he's still losing pretty badly. Seeing Buu lose even after reverting to his most formidable form, Bobby believes it's time that they use their trump card, teleporting into the battlefield with the artifact. He chants a few words, and the artifact flies at Buu, merging with him. There's an eruption of energy, throwing Yamcha and Tien off balance. The dust settles, and we see Kid Buu standing there, but he looks different. He's a bit more purple now, and his energy is even more malicious than it was before, turning the sky dark with just his presence alone. We know this character is a fusion of Janemba and Buu, but here he's just Buu infused with massive amounts of demonic energy from the previous Demon Kings. So for now, we'll call this transformation Demon King Buu to keep it simple. Yamcha and Tien both prepare to fight, but before they can even put their guards up, Buu swipes his finger in front of him, releasing an attack that looks like a lot of glass shards cutting deep into the fighters, badly injuring them. That's when we see an unfamiliar fighter flying. He has black and purple hair and a sword. He looks like Gohan. No, he looks like Trunks. Yamcha looks over with a grin on his face, saying they finally did it before passing out. The mysterious fighter is a fusion between Gohan and Trunks, Gohanks. A bit of backstory on how they know the fusion dance here. Goku and Yamcha didn't necessarily go to King Kai's planet. King Yama and King Kai believed it would be a much better idea for them to go see other fighters in the afterlife, since they already have little to no need for a lot of King Kai's techniques. In the time they were meeting the other fighters in the afterlife, they ran into the Memorans, eventually picking up on how to do the dance, but they never really had a reason to use it themselves. They did, however, come across a few Yardredians in the afterlife, which is how Tien knew about them and why he went to continue training with them. Moving back to the fight, Gohanks power up to his full power, blessing Buu. He unsheathes his sword and slashes over and over again, dicing him up before he can regenerate, and he's almost completely vaporized. Buu regenerates fully, looking at Gohanks as they disappear from the area, causing shockwaves all around the planet just from the clashing fists. With each punch, they tear at the fabric of space, with them eventually ripping a hole into another dimension, continuing their fight there. With all the damage they're causing to the universe, Gohanks believes he has to end this now. transforming into Super Saiyan 3, coating his sword with blue energy. He teleports all around, rapidly slashing at Buu, cutting into him, erasing pieces of him from existence. Buu tries to regenerate, but it doesn't work for some reason. That's when Gohanks retrieves the energy from the sword, blasting the remains of Buu, completely erasing him from existence. Powering down, Gohanks defuses, as he just used up all his energy to completely remove Buu from existence as the Terran reality closes behind him. Gohan and Trunks go back to the destroyed tournament arena, meeting up with Shin and Capito, saying they're already healing everyone who's fought against Bobby and Majin Buu. With everyone back to full health, Shin thanks everyone for helping him deal with Majin Buu and Bobby, saying he's forever grateful to have such a powerful fighter protecting the universe from threats like them. Fast forwarding a few hours, they use the Dragon Balls to repair all the damage done to the planet and revive all the people who were killed in battle. Annoyingly, the energy of the Dragon Balls have been shifting ever so slightly as a small chip starts to appear in one of the Dragon Balls. Far off in the universe, this fight hasn't gone unnoticed. Whis looks into his staff, intrigued at what's transpired. He's certain Lord Beerus would be interested to see this when he wakes up, so he'll keep a close eye on Earth for now. With that, we end this part off here, heading into the events of Dragon Ball Super. What do you guys think about this part? Who do you think is going to give Beerus the best fight when he inevitably arrives on Earth? Leave your thoughts and ideas in the comments below and remember to like and subscribe. Catch y'all next time. Peace.